Hey, good morning. It's Al Trucker here. This is Al Trucker actually trucking. I'm up north. But in mine, I got no signal. Well, almost no signal. I can send my wife text messages by satellite, which is kind of cool. I didn't know you could do that. Alright, I got no idea how well this is going to work, and all I see is reflections of myself in my own glasses, but I tell you, I look so wiped out. You don't want to see behind these tinted lenses. So, I'm just gonna say good morning. I not really sure if it's gonna work with the fucking sound and shit, but they're gonna come get me. I'm gonna unload here soon, just check in the mirrors and make sure nobody's trying to come get me yet. And I've been on the road for just over 2 straight days. This will be day 3 of being on the road consistently. Like away from home. I worked 3 days this week earlier than that too, so I'm just working my way through. I'm in an old truck. I'm in a W9, and I tell you, these old trucks remind me of the good old days. At least the way they seemed the good old days to me back in time there. My dad drove a W9 for a long time when he was a trucker too, and he thought it was the cat's ass, is what he would have said back in his day. So I grew up around these trucks, grew up around the cab overs too. Had some good memories in the cab overs, but these long hood W9s, it isn't the most comfortable I've ever had, but my truck broke. The one I've been driving broke literally as I was just pulling out of the yard with the trailer I was bringing on this run. It was, we got a big storm, we got a lot of ice and snow and shit came down, kind of knocked us out. So Al Trucker has been trucking away. I've been doing a lot of listening. I've been tuning in to people talking as I've been rolling down the road. And I thought, because nobody hears from enough old white men, maybe I'd just put my 2 cents worth in. So I think a lot of people are seeing what's going on politically. I think a lot of people are seeing what's going on with people's lives. Their emotions are tied to the shit that's going on. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you've probably been working up at this mine I've come to, because you can't hear about nothing here. Anyway, these folks up here are great. But yeah, when you get off the grid a little bit, and we're not totally off the grid, they have power and shit here, but like when you get this far up off the road, there's cell phone towers out by the main road. And I tell you, it is a long drive with a load like this. I know I always say I'm a heavy hauler. For this truck, this is a heavy load, a really heavy load. And these old trucks were stronger, but not super strong, not like the truck I drive day to day by any means, or the truck I came out of from my last job. So it struggled almightily to bring this up through the tall hills of North Shore of Lake Superior. One day I'll do a show, for those of you that care about this shit, I'll do a show about Ontario geography. I'll maybe even show like the route I take, because I'm gonna be covering almost all of Ontario, and then I'm supposed to go on another longer run. Hopefully my truck will be ready for that one, because yeah, I don't really want to do this again. Love this truck style-wise. I'm pretty sure I want to be in this slightly more modern truck. It's not that much newer, but 7-8 years makes a difference, right? Creature comforts, and also that one is just mechanically, the power is just way better for this. So it's come to my attention that the Americans politically have elected a new dictator, and people keep tossing that around and making jokes about dicks and taters. And yeah, it seems like I actually heard people talking yesterday, like we're right-wingers. We're talking about how they think maybe he's making a mistake or doesn't understand how economics works. I was gonna, like, one thing that kept coming up to me is like a trade deficit is like just a thing. Like, for instance, I was going to say, like, okay, well, the numbers just don't work out. I think the last time I checked, there's something like 320 or 330 million Americans and about 40 million Canadians, like, just for instance. And let's just say we all make the exact same amount of money. Let's say we're all commies and we all make the exact same amount of money. How are 40 million people going to buy the same amount of stuff as 320 million, say? Just to do rough math. Just to do the rough math. Unless those Canadians are super stinking rich and have nothing they can buy at home, except from those 320 million Americans, say, what the fuck are you expecting? Am I not mathing the math here? That's not necessarily like a bad thing. And then there's going to be, like, I also wonder the same thing. How, like, with the billions of people in China, or India, for instance, how would you expect Americans to match dollar for dollar, every one of them, if they were all the same? Americans have, I think, more money per person, generally speaking, or did traditionally. That won't be the case anymore. I don't see how it will be the case anymore. And this is, I also think maybe another good example would be to ask Donald Trump why he doesn't spend the exact same amount of money out of his own pocket on space exploration as his best buddy Elon. Maybe that would be a good way to put it. One person. There shouldn't be a deficit there. For every dollar Elon puts into space exploration, Donald Trump should put one in, not out of the Americans' pockets, not as a government employee like he is now, as a private citizen, the billionaire, the successful businessman who's only bankrupted 6 or 7 businesses and one country so far. I don't get it. Anyway, being their neighbor, and being up at a mine here, like, puts in perspective, like, what goes on up here. Well, like, we produce a lot of shit in this country. We have a lot of natural resources, and they're produced at places like where I am right now. Maybe you need to see a human face involved here. There's a parking lot full of people that work here. Plus there's camps here. These people live here for weeks at a time. I guarantee you they come from all over the country to work here. That's the way this stuff works. These camps are full of people that are taking a job, they work hard, and there's a lot of safety here. The security to get into this place is almost as much as it is to get into a nuclear power plant. Not quite as bad, but it's in the same ballpark. It's in the same ballpark. I've seen this in high security government places, and I've seen it in places that are concerned about corporate espionage. These people are not concerned about corporate espionage. They're probably just concerned about having ne'er-do-wells up in here where they're doing a lot of important work with heavy equipment, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's explosives and stuff here. They usually have to blast out rock to get at this shit. So you don't just let a bunch of fucking weirdos in here. So that's another thing. This private industry is looking after whether or not there's drugs and weapons and other shit coming into this facility. And Trump is pretending that Canada is letting a whole bunch of stuff into his country. Also, like, we don't want people dying of fentanyl overdoses here either. In case you haven't fucking noticed, there, buddy. Anyway, Trump apparently thinks he's being hard done by, and he feels really bad about it. And I think the American people should feel hard done by. They voted in somebody who promised a bunch of shit he couldn't deliver on, and is now just going through the motions of delivering on shit that he doesn't fucking understand. And I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to say that I think he's not necessarily qualified for the job, and nobody's willing to tell him he's an idiot that he'll listen to. Lots of people are willing to tell him he's an idiot. I was a little bit encouraged to see that people on right-wing media things are saying, hey, this isn't what a tariff is. A tariff is like, and maybe I need to put this in really simple terms so King Cheeto can understand it. I know he watches my channel all the time. I do have almost 200 subs. So, does my opinion count? Probably fucking not. But, Trump, try this on for size. Just try to use your fucking pea brain in that orange little head of yours. And see if you can wrap your head around this. A tariff is where you encourage people to buy something that your country produces by making it more expensive to buy the competition. Which is fine, but then you should expect the same thing to happen somewhere else. And what I hear him saying is, when Trudeau and then Carney both said, hey, we're going to just do reciprocal tariffs because in a trade war, what do you want us to do? If you're launching bullets, what do you want us to do? Make you a fucking flower? Like, we ain't fucking doing it, man. We're gonna use whatever's in our arsenal. And other countries are gonna do the same. To think that you're the only one holding any of the cards, I know that's an analogy you fucking like, because he bankrupted at least one casino that I know of. Yeah, I don't think you're very good at playing fucking cards or seeing which ones are in your hand. If you overplay this hand, what's gonna happen is one of two things. Either you're gonna fall, or you're gonna be behind a wall. Now, I know you don't know how walls work, but if you want to build a fence or a wall around your property and your neighbor doesn't, and they own the other side, you got to pay for it, and you got to put the good looking side to their side. At least most places where I've worked. And I used to be a contractor. I've dealt with putting up fences. If there's an ugly side to the fence, you got to give the pretty side to your neighbor. So what I suggest there's going to be is a Berlin style wall from one side of the country to the other on the north, and Berlin style wall with even more barbed wire on it to the south, because you're so fucking racist that you can't stand to think that anybody that has a better tan on their face than I have on my arm is going to be there climbing over the fucking fence to get out of your country, is pretty much where they're going to want to get. You're going to have to imprison people in your country to keep them there. And if you think that's power, it's not. That's just being a dick. Tater. Right? You're just a big fucking orange potato who's acting like a dick. You build a country where people make a good living and people will want to get in. And I realize you think that's a big fucking problem, that people want to get into your country. But I think what you're doing now is either building a wall around it, or you're just trying to make it so unappealing that everybody that's already there tries to leave. Which is fine. We'll take them. We'll take them up here. We've got stuff. We've got people already, and I guess if we had a whole bunch more, you know what we do? We treat them decently. And it's fucking hard. I don't even know if we're there yet. But treat people like human beings. Stop with the bullshit. Like, all this fucking nonsense you're running around doing is it just fucking pisses me off. You're accomplishing nothing. You're being shitty to all the best people, and you're being nice to all the worst people. You're showing the world's children what it would look like if they never made it past being 3 years old. And thank you for that. That we appreciate. This is what happens when you're nearly an 80-year-old 3-year-old with a fucking dirty fucking diaper, and you're running around tossing your poop around like you're in charge. But what you really need is a long fucking nap. You got it? Does that make sense? I hope it does. All right, folks. Well, I think I should show a little bit of the pretty country up here. What it looks like. It's mostly just snow and ice up here. But, bone spurs, you want to take this, you better fucking put on your boots and make your way up here. I'm here. I'm ready. I don't think your bone spurs would let you make the walk. There's a long ass way up into the fucking bush here, man. Come on, bring it. You want to take it? Take it out of my cold, dead hands. You want to take some advice? Grow up or step out of the fucking way. Because you're just being a fucking D-bag. A D-bag. A D-bag. You're being a fucking D-bag. Am I allowed to say douchebag on my own fucking channel? I fucking think so. Yeah, you're a fucking douchebag. In fact, you're not even good enough to be a douchebag. Alright. Zal Trucker, mad as hell and Still got to take it because I got to work for 2 more days before I get home. All right, everybody, have a great day. If your name is anything other than Lord Supreme Cheeto, why don't you have a wonderful, wonderful day? And, you know, go out there, make a living, have a good life. And, you know, if you're a stark raving mad lunatic billionaire, why don't you go fuck yourself? How about that? How about that? I think that's a good way to end it on. You know, hopefully the world will be turning a little bit better by the time I get back to regular civilization. In the meantime, I'm as loquacious and long-winded as ever. I'm also fucking redundant. I do want to wish everyone a happy weekend. I do hope that everybody has a great fucking time out there. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I just want to see people change their fucking minds about who should be in charge. And this is one other thing I'd like to say to the American people and to the American politicians. Grow a fucking pair. That's the thing I forgot to say. Grow a fucking pair, will ya? Jesus fucking Christ. Stand up to him. He will crumple like a rag doll. He's got nothing. He's got nothing but the fear of what he'll do to you. I tell you, real life will do a whole lot more to you than that fucking bastard, I tell you. Real life's a whole lot more real than that asshole. He's nothing. You keep shutting him down, and you know what's going to happen? He'll still be pooping his diaper. That's it. That's it. He's just a big fucking baby. Shut him down. Shut him down at every turn. He's gonna throw his fucking cereal on the ground. That's it. That's all that's gonna happen. You're gonna put him down for a nap and change his poopy diaper. That's all you can do with a baby like that. You can't handle real life. You can't handle that he made a mistake. You can't handle that he made 1,000 mistakes or 10,000 mistakes. He can't handle fuck all. Anyway, that's it.